Welcome to Stone Watching. Today we're talking about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And if you haven't already, please smash the subscribe button and click on that bell so you can notify for future videos. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And yes, after going to the theaters and watching Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, I gotta say this movie was pretty damn good. Now I have to admit, when I first heard that they were gonna lean into the horror movie like type aspect for this movie, I was like, oh man, I don't know, because I'm not a huge horror movie fan. I never have been. It's not really for me, but this is the MCU, and I figured, the New Mutants was supposed to be like a comic book / horror movie, and I really liked that movie, even though I did have to watch that movie twice, and I liked it better the second time more I did the first time, but I liked it the first time also, so I figured why not, right? And again, this is the MCU, and it's supposed to tie into WandaVision. It's supposed to tie into Spider-Man No Way Home, even though I think it kind of really pulls more from WandaVision more so than Spider-Man, because I think they might have mentioned Spider-Man, the events of Spider-Man a couple times in this movie, but not that much. And it was pretty damn funny when they were sitting around talking about what happened with Spider-Man in New York and everything, and they were trying to explain that to America Chavez, and she's like, does he spring webs out of his butt? I mean, I was laughing my ass off when she said that. I mean, there were a lot of things about this movie I like. I'm not going to say this is like my top favorite MCU movie of all time, but I did like this movie quite a bit. I really liked how they did lean into the horror movie aspect of it, especially when Wanda was like attacking the castle and everything. That was pretty damn cool, and how she was like stalking them through the whole entire movie because she's trying to get her kids back. But I have to say, like, even though some of this is supposed to be from WandaVision, where was Vision? Why wasn't Vision in this movie? I mean, he was mentioned like maybe once. He should have been in this movie. At least, I mean, he should have been more part of this movie, right? I mean, that's my opinion. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. I mean, this movie was pretty damn good, and I'm definitely going to probably have to go see this in the theater again, because it's definitely a movie you got to see on the big screen at least once. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is an American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character Doctor Strange, produced by Marvel Studios and distributed by Walt Disney Studio Motion Pictures. It is a sequel to the Doctor Strange movie from 2016 and is the 28th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, directed by Sam Raimi and written by Michael Waldron. In the film, Strange protects America Chavez, a teenager capable of traveling in the multiverse, from Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch. Doctor Strange director and co-writer Scott Derrickson had plans for a sequel by October of 2016. He and Cumberbatch were signed to return in December of 2018. The film's title was announced in July of 2019 along with Olsen's involvement. While Jade Hadley Bartlett was hired to write the film that October, Derrickson stepped down as director in January of 2020, citing creative differences. Then Waldron and Raimi joined that next month and started all over. Filming began in November of 2020 in London, but was put on hold in January of 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Production resumed by March 2021 and concluded in mid-April in Somerset. Shooting also occurred in Surrey and Los Angeles. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness premiered at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood on May 2nd of 2022. It was released in the United States on May 6th of 2022 as part of the Phase 4 of the MCU. The film received general positive reviews from the critics, who praised Raimi's direction, the visual effects, and the musical score, and the performances of the cast, particularly Cumberbatch, Olsen, and Gomez. But the pacing and the writing received some criticism. Starring in this movie, Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen, Benedict Wong, Michael Stolberg, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Xochitl Gomez, and Rachel McAdams, just to name a few. Now, currently, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is sitting with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 74%, with 379 top critics so far chiming in. Now, over to the audience side, we're sitting with a score of 87%, with over 10,000 fans telling you what they think. And so far, it's doing pretty good going in the weekend, too. Now, with a budget of $200 million, and its opening box office weekend was like almost $450 million worldwide. That's domestic and international combined. That's pretty damn good for opening weekend. And right now, going in the weekend, too, it's at $568 million. Now, it makes you kind of wonder, is this movie going to make the $1 billion club when this is all said and done? But we'll have to wait and see how this thing performs in week 2 to see whether or not if it's got any legs. I mean, who knew that Spider-Man No Way Home was going to make $1 billion? And here we are. I mean, this movie is pretty good. I'm definitely going to go see it in the theaters again because it's one of those movies that you had to see it in the theater. And when I go see it my second time, I definitely want to see it on the big screen. Again, after that, I can watch it on TV, but I want to see all that stuff on the big screen again because I did have a lot of fun with this movie, even though it was like a horror type thing. Now, I have seen some of the criticism about the pacing for this movie, but I didn't really think it was really all that bad, at least not for me, right? I mean, I was enjoying it. I mean, it was only like a little over 2-hour movie, so it wasn't really all that bad. I thought they kept it going pretty good. I mean, I'm not really all that familiar with the America Chavez character's origin story from the comics, so I was just pretty much trying to soak that all in. I thought she was pretty damn good. I liked her character, and I was like wanting to see more of that. I thought that the Rachel McAdams character was actually pretty damn interesting in this movie. I mean, I kind of remember seeing the first Doctor Strange movie, but it's been a long time, and I didn't do any rewatches before I went to go see this movie. I didn't do a rewatch of WandaVision before I went to go watch this movie. I just went into this movie knowing, okay, it's supposed to tie into this, and like the closest tie-in to this was when I went to go see Spider-Man No Way Home back in December. So I didn't do any rewatches going into this, even though I did listen to a couple rewatch videos on YouTube with that, people talking about leading up to this movie, so it's kind of like I did a rewatch, but I didn't actually watch the movies, right? So I don't know. Again, I thought this movie was pretty good. I did enjoy it. We got to talk about that, the scenes with the Illuminati. Everybody was talking about that, speculating about that, who's going to be on there and everything else. I mean, and then when they all did kind of pop in, I'm going, oh, okay. I mean, Patrick Stewart comes back as Charles Xavier, a.k.a. Professor X. I thought that was pretty damn cool. And when he comes on screen, we hear a little bit of the X-Men theme song from the cartoon from back in the day. That was pretty damn cool. I caught that pretty damn quick. And then we have Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter, aka Captain Carter. Now, I think that's just from the What If show that was on Disney Plus here not too long ago. I don't know whether or not she's actually has any actual comic books. If she does, they're all like new, and I've never seen them. They weren't a thing when I was collecting. So, but it was pretty cool to have her come back because I like Peggy Carter as a character from the Captain America movies. I didn't watch the series that was on ABC, but I've been meaning to go check that out, seeing it is on Disney Plus, but I haven't watched it yet. But I do like that character quite a bit, so it's really cool to see her come in. And then we have John Krasinski as Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic of the Fantastic Four. Now, I don't know whether or not if this guy's going to come back and reprise this role for the Fantastic Four movie that's coming out here fairly soon for the MCU, but maybe. I mean, just maybe. I know a lot of people are hoping that he does. I mean, I'll be honest, I have not watched maybe snippets of The Office, so I have no attachment to this guy whatsoever. I mean, from what's little bit stuff I've seen, okay, and he looked kind of like a believable Reed Richards. I mean, I did watch some other Fantastic Four movies, so I kind of had that to kind of compare it to, and I did read some of the Fantastic Four comics from back in the day, so I don't know, he looked kind of believable for a Reed Richards for me. I'm all for it. I'm not saying I'm against it, but I don't really have the attachment to it that all these other people have. You know what I mean? And then we have Anson Mount as Black Bolt. Now, I didn't watch the Inhuman shows that was on ABC, and from what I've heard, I don't want to watch that show. I mean, I like him as an actor. I liked him in Hell on Wheels, and I've been watching that Star Trek Strange New Worlds over on Paramount Plus, and I've been really digging that show. So, I mean, from what I could tell in this movie, okay, I'm not really all that familiar with the Inhumans in the comic books either. I mean, I know I don't remember them from back in the day, so all right. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool, and the way he died in this movie, that was pretty damn brutal, man. Then we have Lashana Lynch comes back as Maria Rambeau, a.k.a. Captain Marvel. Now, I think there is a comic book version of Captain Marvel where Maria Rambeau is Captain Marvel, so that was pretty damn cool to see her come in here. I mean, again, some of these characters are from like the comic books. I don't really have that attachment to them because I didn't read those comic books, so I don't really know that storyline of the whole Illuminati thing, because when I was reading comic books, that wasn't a thing. I mean, I stopped at like the early 90s, so I'm not really sure when the whole Illuminati thing actually kicked in, but I thought this group was pretty damn cool, and I thought it was kind of interesting and really cool to see that Wanda comes in and pretty much takes them all out. I mean, some of them are like harder for her to do than others, but I thought that was pretty damn bro. She pretty much killed them all, including Professor X. Now that's like the third or fourth time that Professor X has died on screen. So, and I see that some people are wondering whether or not if Patrick Stewart will return to the MCU again as Professor X. I mean, I think maybe one more time. I mean, maybe because he is in his 80s. I mean, let's be realistic. Maybe we want to have like a younger Professor X when they finally bring the X-Men officially in the MCU, because they're going to do this here pretty soon, right? I mean, Kevin Feige said he had a 5-year plan, and after that, he was going to start bringing in the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. Now, we know we're going to get a Fantastic Four movie here pretty soon, and I have to imagine that the X-Men are not that far behind, right? And we already gotten Professor X in this thing, so the door is now open, right? After being introduced to the character America Chavez, it kind of makes me wonder when we're going to see a Young Avengers movie or a Disney Plus series. Because we pretty much gotten the whole entire team so far, right? I mean, we got the twins from WandaVision, Speed and Wiccan. Then we got Kate Bishop, who's supposed to take on the moniker as Hawkeye from the Hawkeye series. Then we got Kid Loki from the Loki series. Then we got Eli Bradley, a.k.a. the Patriot from the Falcon and Winter Soldier series. I mean, that's like almost more than half the team. Now, I know there's a few more other characters they have not introduced just quite yet, but I think they're coming up pretty soon. Now, I don't have any inside information, but I think we could possibly, maybe, I don't know, could see the Hawkling character appear in the She-Hulk show, right? We already know that Bruce Banner is going to make an appearance. Now, I don't know the origin story of Hawkling, so I don't know where he falls in the storyline in Marvel Comics, so I could be just totally pulling that out of you-know-what. So, I don't know. All I'm saying is it's a possibility that they are setting this team up later on down the road, because we know that's how Kevin Feige and them think. They like to make plans. I mean, I heard when he showed up at CinemaCon, he said he just got back from a retreat where they mapped out the next 10 years for the MCU. So I can only imagine what that means, right? He mapped out 10 years of the MCU. Now, I know he's going to probably tweak it as we go along here, because that's what he pretty much did for the Infinity Saga, right? I mean, they had a plan. Lucasfilm, pay attention, but they had a plan, and they pretty much and they tweaked it as they went along when they needed to, but for the most part, man, they pulled it off. When we got the end game, we were like, oh my god. I mean, that was everybody's reaction to that, right? And now they're trying to do that again. So we're going to have to wait a whole another 10 years before we see how this all plays out. And let's not forget the credit scenes that we got in this movie. Now, the first one we got was in the mid-credit scene. We got Charlize Theron coming as the character Clea. Now, I don't know who that is. I just know that's what people are saying, to who she's supposed to be. I don't know where she ties into the whole entire story for Doctor Strange just quite yet. When I do, I'll get back to you on that one. I mean, I thought that was a pretty cool thing leading into something. I'm not really sure what, but I like that one. Now, the second post-credit scene also ties in with a cameo that we got earlier on in the movie. Now, Bruce Campbell shows up as a pizza ball vendor on the streets or whatever that Chavez steals food from, whatever and whatnot. Now, from my understanding, he appears in a lot of Sam Raimi movies, or all of Sam Raimi's movies and what have you. So it's kind of like a traditional like tape thing. So, I mean, it was cool to see him show up, and then like Strange gets it to where he says he punches himself in the face for like 3 weeks, and then the post-credit scene that we get is him actually stopping and saying, it's all over, kind of like a Ferris Bueller like type thing.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
I mean, that was kind of funny, but at the same time, I'm going, really? I sat through the rest of the credits for that? It's kind of a little bit of a letdown, even though it was a little bit funny. A little bit. But at the same time, I'm going, man, that was not good. Maybe it's just me. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. I mean, so did you see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? Let me know in the comments down below. Where does this rank with you with all the other MCU movies? Let me know in the comments down below. I mean, I like this movie. I can't wait to see it again. So let me know what you think in the comments down below.